Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Enjoy the Bounty of Planning with Tonisha Taylor. So I am so excited. I have the January cloth and paper box to unbox for you today, which January is my birthday month. So I am always excited to get my cloth and paper box every month, but I'm always excited about the January box because it's like a little birthday gift. So going to open that. Over here is just the stack of lovely, which I'm actually just gonna move out of the way. But this is what I am using every day. I am going to do a kind of a flip through video later, kind of showing sort of what I use every day for my planner, for teaching, research, service, administrative commitments, all that fun stuff. So look for that to be coming soon. So let's move that out of the way. So this is our box. Let's go ahead and open her up because I haven't even undone the tape from the bottom. I normally do this ahead of time, but I didn't today. So, and then let's come across here. All right, this box is so full. Like, the boxes usually aren't kind of bulging, but this one definitely is. So let's just get her open. All right, so inside now, when we get our boxes, everything comes in these great cloth and paper bags, which are just amazing. So we have our little bag here that has our what's inside card and our journaling card. So let me see if I can get this open. I don't usually start with this, but today I'm going to. So this journaling card is a cream color with black ink, and it says always remain open to turns and surprises along the way. And then the smaller print says you never know when you are going to do your best work. Be willing to experiment. I love that. What a great quote. And then this one, that's kind of interesting. The like embossed center. It's kind of a gray color with black writing. So it says from the ground up. And the smaller print here says you can start with nothing and find out nothing, and out of no way a way will be made. Michael Beckwith. So that's really nice. And then this one the quote is from Rick Rubin. All right. So, oh wow. So in this box, we actually got 2 months of tent cards. So we got February and March. I absolutely love this. So the January one, which was in the previous unboxing, so this one is more of a white color. This one is more of an ivory. And then this one is obviously just this beautiful kind of gray color. So I love that. I'm gonna leave those flat until it's time to use them. Now I went ahead and made the little tent with the January one. Now that I'm kind of looking at these, I might leave this flat and just stick it inside my planner, because I do kind of miss having I know it's weird, right? Like your planner has a calendar in it, but sometimes just opening your planner having it open and seeing a calendar right in the front is something that kind of just gives you a quick reference, because sometimes you don't need to look at the whole thing. If somebody says something in class or at a meeting, and you just need to know like what day is Wednesday, like, you know, like, or somebody says, oh yeah, we can have that meeting on the 17th, and you just need to look real quick and find, oh, the 17th is a Friday, that's my research day, I can't meet that day, right? So sometimes having just this at a glance quick is good to just have. So I might leave it flat and stick it in the front of my planner. So we have our what's inside card, which are gonna sit right there. All right. let's pull these out of our little linen bag. So exciting. So this is something I'm excited about because it was part of the happy hour sneak previews, which is the incredibly well packed so it doesn't get broken or chipped or anything. Look at that, you guys. So this is the stone. Actually, let me see, because it doesn't feel like stone, y'all. It's not that heavy. It feels like it might be pottery. Let's see. It's a sticky note holder to hold your sticky notes. And it doesn't really say what it's made out of. It is really pretty. Like, I love the coloring of it. It's just so gorgeous and neutral. It's gonna look beautiful on any desk. So that is so exciting. And look, to help you out, they gave you some sticky notes. So let's pull these open. So we have these appointment sticky notes in the color Aspen, which is so pretty. So these are your regular 3x3s. These say just across the top appointment, and then you have date, time, location, follow-up, and then a larger space to write. I absolutely love this. Now, I am one of those people who, what they call depots their sticky notes. So I take them off the back. I just use one sticky note and just turn it over. Place it right there so that I can have them in a pile. And then what I do is I transfer this information onto here so that I know what this is. So since this already says appointment, I'm just going to write just like this. And okay, so this is the appointment sticky note in the color Aspen. And then just stick that right in there. Tell me that doesn't look gorgeous. That's absolutely sticking beautiful. Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Okay, so the next thing we have are these really beautiful bar graph stickers. These are a matte sticker. It's supposed to be a progress sticker. So these are, oh, actually there's different ones. Okay, so we have bar graphs in 5 lengths. So there are 4 sticker pages. So there are 30 bar graph stickers. There are 54 matte pie chart stickers. And this is in the color Lagoon. So this matches this sort of black color. And then we have this sort of darker brown color, which they're calling the color Saddle. And this one has also 54 pie stickers. And then this lighter color is in the color Fawn, and also has 54 stickers. So this is so nice. I love this beautiful, that's such a beautiful neutral. Like, isn't that gorgeous? So if you're someone who likes to use Gantt charts or other kinds of charts to mark progress, I could see this being really useful. I could see this being useful for, especially for those long range projects, right? This channel, we talk about planning for research, planning for long range, planning for class. Class is a long range thing. It's 16 weeks, right? And a lot happens in 16 weeks. I could see this being really useful for being able to help you kind of, especially if you're a visual person, you're a person who responds to color, to visualizations. then I could see this being really useful for being able to map out how far you are on that term paper that you got assigned in week 1 that isn't due until week 15. For lots of folks, it's hard to figure out how to get there, right? And I will be the first one to tell you, most of your faculty members are not going to give you a step-by-step instructive guide on how to get from I assigned you a paper to I expect to read a paper at the end of the term. They just tell you to do it. Right? It's what happened when I was a student, right? But as a professor, I've always tried to be able to also teach my students, like, what do you need to do? How do you break this down? How do you plan for this so that you can get it done in the length of the semester and you're not in a, like, waking up in cold sweats in the middle of the night at week 17, realizing that the semester is over and there's literally nothing you can do about the things you didn't do, right? Like, and God help you, you might have to sit through another 16 weeks with that professor. In about 6 weeks, you're gonna see them again. So I could see these being really useful for being able to help track progress and figure out those long range projects. So I'm excited about this. I'm gonna sit down with these so that I can maybe create something that I can show y'all how to use those. So that's fun. All right, next up. Ooh, okay, this is really pretty. So if you are new here, the cloth and paper subscription box, there's always so many items in these boxes that are just so beautiful. Okay, so on this channel, I also do a little bit of a setup as I just explained some ways that you could possibly use these. Now, I have to say, the bar graph sticker, these progress stickers, I'm able to kind of say some possible uses for them because they did a sneak of those, so I knew that those were coming. So I kind of have thought ahead a little bit about some possible uses. Some of the other things, they've done like little corner sneaks, and so you'll hear me talk through some possibilities. But one of the things that I love about this cloth and paper box and why I will never give it up is I love the dashboards. So I like to do a little bit of decor in my planner, and I love that with cloth and paper you get 1 to 3 dashboards in every box, so you can do like a little mini refresh, and so you don't kind of get, because it's really easy to get caught up in like the buy all the things, and so you just don't need all of that sometimes, well, most times actually, but something like this really gives you, it satisfies that kind of urge at least for me, to have like new decor. So this one is a vellum, and it's a vellum with white writing, which, let me see, do I have something that I can get some contrast besides just my, we'll just use that. That's easy. So this says essentialism across the top here, and then it says, it is not about how to get more things done. It is about how to get the right things done. It doesn't mean just doing less for the sake of less either. It is about making the wisest possible investment of your time and energy in order to operate at your highest point of contribution by doing only what is essential. And this is by Greg Mikano. Is that Mikano? McNo? Help me out, y'all. So I love that. I love the spacing of this. I love the kerning and the lettering. Like, this is such a beautiful graphic design as well. That is so lovely. And I love kind of the invisibility of it. right? Like you put that on this sort of white or this kind of cream background, and you can see that it has something written on it, has words written on it, but you can't, it's hard to read, right? I love that, like if you leave it on that cream background, like this is kind of like that secret inspiration. I kind of love that. So then this is a cream color cardstock. It is embossed. It is absolutely beautiful. Now because of the way this is written, I'm not 100% sure what this word is supposed to be. The embossed letters spell out, is it, ooh, Lord, it's French, I think. And we've already discussed that my French is terrible, so we're not gonna do that to the French language. But it means less is better. That is gorgeous. I love that. Okay. All right, now for our inserts. So we also get in these boxes usually 1 to 2 inserts depending on the month and the theme. The theme for this month, I believe, is actually project management. So we have received a project management insert. So this one they've done a little bit of a sneak on, but I mean a very little bit. If you go back to their Instagram channel, it's like, I think we saw like this cover page on the sneak, and we saw like the corner of a page. I have absolutely no idea what I'm looking at. But we're still gonna talk through some possibilities with it, because who doesn't love a good project management page? Like, for real. So I get my box in half letter because that's the size planner and notebook that I am in. I know some people use notebooks in different sizes, but I like to kind of keep it all sort of the same. So all of my planner inserts, all of my notebooks that are just straight notebooks for meeting notes and committee notes and research notes and the notes to keep track of my graduate students and their progress, is all half letter. So I love now that one of the things Cloth and Paper does is they kind of give you a little cover page with their inserts. So this is just white paper with black writing, and in all caps says project management. It is blank on the other side, so you can really just use that as a cover for this section, which is so gorgeous. And then it looks like for these project management inserts, y'all know I love me some dot grid. So we have dot grid at the top. It looks like we have task lines. Yes, because we have a space between the lines. So we have like a little line where we could put, like, if you are someone I use for my tasks, I still use sort of the bullet journal method. So that I am putting a box here, and then in the box I'm filling it in when things are done, drawing a line through it when it started, a diagonal line when something has started, half filling, coloring in half the box when the project is halfway done. And then you have a line here, and then you have another space here. I could see this going either way depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed, where you could also just put the date here, put some information here, and then have your check boxes down this side. Or the other way around, you could put your dates here. So I'm right-handed, but I use the bullet method. So I would put the box for the bullet method here, and I would probably put the date here. So that's how I would probably use it. I could also see if you use this for like reading notes for class, you could do like your page numbers here, or you could do your dates here. Actually, if I was using it for reading notes, I would probably do my dates here and my page numbers here. So that's one way to kind of do it, and then put my title and my big idea information for my reading up here in this area. If I was using this for a paper, like a term paper, I might put my term paper ideas, like whatever ideas I'm having for, put my thesis statement and then my main points, or my research ideas, my research question, and then my data that I might use to answer my research question up here. And then down here, my list of notes on what I need to read, when I need to read it. I might even, if my professor gives me a good breakdown of what's supposed to be in the paper, like what's in the introduction, what's in the literature review, like, or even they don't put what's in it, that they want a literature review, right? Like if they put in the directions, your paper needs to have these 6 things, I would write these 6 things down here and then give myself a box here to check off when that is done, when that part of the paper is done. And then here a date for either when I want to have it done or when it needs to be done, right? Like that's another good way to use this front section. Now on the back, you also have a timeline. This I would definitely 100% use for those papers or those professors that break down the paper. I'm one of those professors. My students don't turn in a paper as like a midterm draft and a final draft. They're actually responsible to turn in parts of the paper throughout the semester. So if I was in my own class, I would use this timeline. On one side, I would put like my draft writing schedule, and on the other side, I would put when that sucker is due. So if the introduction is due or the literature review is due in week 5, I might put week 5 literature review. And then on this side, what am I doing in week 2, 3, 4 to draft what's due in week 5? Like what's happening, right? So that's how I would use these if I was in class. Now, as a researcher, I would actually probably use these the same way, especially if I'm doing a book chapter, a journal article, something that somebody has requested me to write that I'm not writing on my own. But, you know, like if I have a book chapter due, I would probably use this, especially if it's something that I wish I had these like 4 months ago, because I actually had this 4 months ago. A book chapter that I was writing, that I was requested to write, that I said yes to, but I'm very excited about. I'm very excited about this book chapter actually. But at the time, I was like, I'm excited about the topic, but I don't know like how to get from the topic to the completed essay. At the time, I was like, I'll think about it later, right? Like this kind of project management, like a 1-sheet kind of thing would have been really helpful to brainstorm some stuff to get me there. So I actually might kind of like use that paper as an example to kind of do a sample of how I would use this. So let me know if that's something that would be interesting to you. I don't mind sacrificing a couple of pages to do that. So, because they're all the same. This is also one I could see 100% if they put this on the website as something to purchase. I could actually see buying more of these in the future for that reason. Like, I think not enough students think about the paper that you have to do, whether it's a thesis, a dissertation, an article, as project management. But if you think about it in those kinds of terms, it's often easier to figure out what the heck you're doing. So that's that. So the last thing we have is this really cool notepad. Get out of here. So this notepad is the progress tracker. So I really like this in partnership with this project management form. Okay, so you have your project tracker. I could see using this, and I just tore a sheet off so I could see. Yes, so I use half letter. This is basically, this notepad is a half letter notepad. So we're gonna do something before I start talking about this pad that I tend to do. So I'm gonna grab my punch. I'm gonna stick this in here. Okay, so I kind of eyeballed it and figured this would probably be the case, but I wanted to punch it to make sure. Notice how now it's punched, it can go in my disc bound planner and I'm all in the margin. Y'all, I can't even tell you how excited that is so exciting. That is so exciting. I am going to resist the urge to punch a bunch of these pages. I'm not going to do that. But what I am gonna do is say that, okay, if we use this page as our project management page, right, to manage that research paper, manage that book chapter, really outline it, figure out what we're doing, we're gonna manage our progress here. So we're going to use our stickers, right, to be able to put in our progress, okay? So we have 3 circles here. We also have 3 bar graphs below it, okay? Is that focusing? Let's do it that way. All right, so you like to track your progress using something like this to actually track like major, because there's only 3, I would track sort of major parts of the project. And then, so if it's like a book chapter that I was writing, I would probably do something that lets me sort of track the 3 sort of major areas of a project. The way I use my, where is it? The way I use the research pipeline that I have in my planner, right? So here we have great idea, abstract draft, abstract review, data collection. These first 3, I would actually put as like one of those parts of the circle. And I would probably actually, let's see, write those in here on the lines or write them in the circle so that I would know I could put the sticker over that part when it's done, right? And then data collection, data analysis, essay draft, and yeah, those I would put together as the middle. And then with readers, almost ready, essay under review, I would probably collapse all of these. Actually, I'd probably do data collection, essay draft, and with readers in this middle circle. And then do these essay under review, right? Final reviews and edits in press, and then published is the last circle, right? Because that part takes longer sometimes, but also that end part, like when we're talking about reviews and revisions and final reviews, the impress part, that really is the end, right? You're done writing, it is over, it is submitted, right? And so I would probably do this as kind of that initial, this sort of representing the actual writing process, and then this circle representing the submission process, and then use these to kind of recognize that, because we have different size shapes here where you have like a half shape. This is a quarter shape here, which you can see. I really want to be able to use these, so I don't want to like use them. So you have a quarter shape. These also kind of remind me of, what's that board game with the little pie pieces? It's like a question, as a quiz game. It's gonna come to me. It was very popular in the 80s. And then you have some other ones that are a slightly different set. So that just have like a little triangle, and it looks like there are 6 little pieces. Okay, So the circles, the way that they're broken up, you could represent different items like that. But the three main circles could represent sort of those three main phases of submission, right? Of sort of that initial submission where you've got an idea, you submit an abstract, you get that accepted, and then you have the paper writing phase, and then, like I said, the submission and publication phase. So I would use this to track that. Sometimes breaking down a project out of something like this and onto something like this can be really helpful, because this is something, for me, this is something that stays in the planner. All the projects are together in the planner. And lately I have been kind of thinking that I want to have, because I used to do this when I was in school, where I had a sort of progress chart kind of, and some kind of like overall notes about the project together with the research notes. Like, it was all together in the same folder, because I used to put everything in like file folders. And so it's one of those things that allows me to, now I can go back and look at those old projects and how they developed. And so I've been kind of thinking, like, I want to start doing that again, but like this, where I can like carry it more easily. And this, I think, is gonna be that thing for me. So I am very, very excited about that. And because I'm very, very excited about that, I'm actually going to put those, I'm gonna put both of these right in here, because that is just perfect with this particular project. And there we go. Yay. All right. That is very exciting. All right, let's do, because we do a little bit of a setup on this channel. So let me grab these. And let's see where we want to put those. Let's see. Okay, I do love this, but I think I want to take this out, and I think I want to put it here. Oh, nope, already bothered. It's because you can see the overview behind it. But I want this. And I think I want them to be together. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so this is my planner section for my personal. So in case you are wondering, so this is my ideal day, and I just used some Tombow glue tape to stick just a plain piece of white paper to that, so that I wouldn't be able to see that. This is a undated daily page from Cloth and Paper, and I just used it to create, again, what my ideal day looks like. I love the idea of having an ideal day already worked out, because sometimes, especially as researchers, right? I mean, probably more so early career, but honestly, I'm way into the middle of mid-career, and I can honestly tell you, having an ideal schedule some days, this rescues me from sitting at my desk and just staring into the abyss. Like, you know, or not sitting at my desk at all, sitting on the sofa and just reading a book that has nothing to do with anything, or not reading at all, just watching TV and just letting my mind float away, right? Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes we need that time, because it is very important to like just relax and let it all kind of drift away. But sometimes if you're like in almost like a writer's funk where you can't figure out where the next word is in the sentence, Having an ideal day like this, where you've broken out what you're doing at each point in the day, can be really, really helpful for giving you a little bit of structure so that you can sit down and be productive, right? And get some reading done, or get some writing done, or get some editing done, or grading done, or whatever needs to get done. You can sit down and do that. So I really enjoy having this. And then I have a little night routine and a little morning routine. I also have those on those cards so that I can write that out. So let's see, where are we going to put our quote that we took out that we love? Here we go. We'll just stick it right here. I think that'll look nice. Oh yeah, that looks pretty. Yeah, that looks pretty. All right. So just as a little reminder, in my planner section is my personal planner. So I have the full month of January. So this is gonna have the month of January, and then all of my weeklies as well. But for February, March, and April, I only have a little bit of decor, which I love. So this February vellum, this F vellum, was one of the monthly, it's the monthly vellum cover from Cloth and Paper, as you see here. And I think this one is still on the site. I bought this one, I think I bought these last year, either in 21 or 22, I can't remember, but I think they're still available. And then this is just an image from Canva that I printed out on some white presentation paper. And then I have just the month of February in here. I like having the months in here like this for being able to just write out the basic things that are happening. And then I'll fill out this front part with the goals for the month when that month happens, right? But right now I have written out all the big stuff, so I know kind of largely what I can and can't accept, what I can and can't add to my schedule, because I know the big things that are already happening, right? So that is that. In the work section, I actually did the same thing. So in the front of the personal section, I have my ideal day, and the front of the notes section, or the front of the work section, I have work notes for meetings and different projects. And then same thing, I have my main to-do list, my monthly calendar for work, and then I have for January all of the weeklies for the month. And then for February, March, and April, I have just a little cover. This again is, any of these images that are printed out are usually going to be just images I did on Canva and just printed on presentation paper. I am so sad. Somehow when I did my planner for the month, I got makeup on it. I don't know what I was doing. This one for March, I'm using that March vellum. This is the cover from the March calendar. And then I have the March calendar with all the big things for March for work. And then the same thing, this vellum for April, the dashboard for the 23 calendar from Cloth and Paper, and then just everything that is sort of big for April. So when January is over, I'll take January out, and then I'll add May. So I'll add all of the guts for February, right? So the weeklies for February, and then I'll add the whole month of May for both the personal and the work planner. So I only have the full month with all the weeklies for the month that I'm in. And the reason for that is because I decided that I wanted to have more months on my discs at a time, because I have gone back and forth trying to only have like 1 month at a time or 2 months. And y'all know academia, that's not how it works. Like, we really, and I found that especially because I'm an administrator, like having 1 month at a time sometimes was a little bit frustrating. And sometimes it was a lot frustrating some days, but most days it was just low grade frustration. And I was like, hold on, I don't have to do this to myself. So, especially because I get a beautiful monthly box with all kinds of awesome things, I don't have to be unhappy with my planner. So I went ahead and just added 4 months at a time because I find that that's pretty much all you need. For now, if I was in school, like if I was taking classes as a student, I would actually have, I still wouldn't have like all of the weeks for every month in here, but I would definitely have my monthlies through the end of the semester. So if I was a student, I would have my full month for January with all of my weeklies. And then I would also have my monthly for February, March, April, and May at the minimum. So I would definitely go through the end of the semester, because on my monthly, I would go ahead and lay out for my month all of my classes and when my classes are, which you can see in here, I have my classes listed. I would also, on my monthly, I would lay out all of my major assignments and when they're due. Now, if I knew the professor and I know this is a professor who is flexible and will change dates with the students and negotiate due dates with the students, I might pencil in the assignments instead of writing them in. If it's somebody that I know, like the due date is the due date, and I don't care what you say to that professor, they're not changing the due date, I will go ahead and put that in a pen. Now, I have to be honest, when I was a student, I penned in everything, because my theory was I've never in my life, in my whole educated life, had a professor who changed a due date and made it due earlier than what the syllabus said. It's always later, it's never earlier. And so for me, I didn't have a problem pinning in the due date that was written in the syllabus. And I just knew, some professors, I just knew like, okay, they always change the due dates. If the students, ask, this professor always changes the date and pushes things back by a week or maybe more, right? I would still leave it pinned in wherever it was originally due on the syllabus, because that's what I would use to do my project management and to do my project tracker and my project management. I would use that original syllabus due date and then change it if I got more time, because the professor provided more time. But I would use these 3 things in collaboration if I was a student now to get that done that way, right? Extensions happen, right? Even as a researcher, as a scholar, I would do this the same way. I always, when I get a project, when I'm asked to do an article or a book chapter, I always write it in pen in the original due date. And if the publisher gives me an extension, yay me. And I will adjust, but I always have the original date written in my planner, and I plan based on that. And I tell my students to back plan. I would use the project management and the project tracker to be able to do that. Go back from the due date. If you don't know how long it takes you to do things, start tracking that so that you can figure out how long does it take you to write a literature review? How long does it take you to collect data? How long does it take you to analyze data? Before you analyze data, you have to organize the data. How long does it take you to do that? Are you the kind of person who organizes their data before they collect it? And then so that when you're collecting it into particular categories. Or are you the kind of person who collects all the data and then you organize it as part of the analysis process? Whichever method you do, Figure that out for yourself. Write that down for yourself so that you can plan and figure out, okay, I'm the kind of person who, when I'm doing an ethnography, I let the sort of the space speak. I let the people speak, and I collect all the data for the ethnography, and then I come back and I categorize it after the collection is done. If you're that person, bless it. But if you know you're that person and you know you like to sit with your data and take a month and a half to do that, also bless it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But write that down for yourself so that you can plan accordingly to know you want to do this ethnography. It's going to take you 6 months, right? Because you're going to spend 2 months in the field collecting, you're going to spend a month and a half categorizing, you're going to spend another month and a half analyzing, and then after all of that, you're going to write it up. So if you know you're going to do it all in those discrete steps, right? Just the data collection part alone on your little progress is gonna be your collection and analysis is gonna take 6 months just to do that part. So if you know that, you can track that, and you can manage your time better, and you can deal with it better when you start to think, oh my God, I haven't done anything, I don't have anything out, I haven't published anything. Well, no, you haven't, because you were doing data collection for 6 months. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that thing is gonna become a book, right? And so you should be taking that long to complete it, right? This is one of the things we don't talk about enough as researchers, is the fact that this takes time. Scholarship, good scholarship, takes time. It takes 6 months to a year to write something, right? And it should, right? And that's the way it's supposed to be. And there's nothing wrong with it, but you need to know what that is for you, what your process is, so that you can also make sure that you're saying yes to things you have time to complete, right? I think a lot of times as scholars, we say yes to things that we think, oh, okay, I've got 6 months, I can do that. But the thing you're saying yes to is a thing that normally would take you 8 months to do, and you only have 6 months to do it in. So, but you don't know that because you've never figured out what your process is. Figure out what your process is. Take a year to figure out what your process is. If you haven't done that yet, do that, right? So this year, if you, one of the things I think I might do is put up some of those process videos this year. And so if you have questions or ideas about process videos you would like to see, feel free to ask me about that, and I will be happy to do some of that. So I know that this unboxing has gotten longer than usual, and I 100% blame cloth and paper for that. Because I love a good project management system for research, especially for scholarship. Because again, not enough of us as scholars who have a proven track record of success, not enough of us talk about how to do that, because honestly, most of us don't know how we got here. We just got here. And so that's why I really wanted to start this channel, but also why I really think it's important to talk about this so that we know how we get here and you can help somebody else. We can mentor each other through this process if we can actually talk about it, right? You can't talk about the things you don't have words for. You can't explain a thing if you've never thought about it. So let's think about it. Let's figure it out. Let's get here. All right. So, and we have some really beautiful tools from Cloth and Paper to help us. So I am excited about these new stickers and tools and project management documents, because we are going to have a great time planning out some projects and some research. Now, if you are not in school, you're not a researcher, you're not in an academic career, there are lots of ways you can use this bundle that for other things like house projects, or even if you're in academia but you're not on the teaching side, you're on the student services side, I could see using these for a lot of different ways to manage those student service projects, like those, especially those ones that are regular projects, like processing graduation applications, which is a regular project that happens all the time, every year, same time every year. Sometimes it's nice with those regular projects that happen all the time, plan those out, and then use the plan as your template going forward, right? So if that's something that you would be interested in, let me know, and it's certainly something that we can talk about going forward. All right, thank you so much for joining me today on Enjoy the Bounty of Planning. We are having a great time over here prepping for the year and looking at what's going to happen going forward. I am so excited about this, you guys. So excited. Like, this is such a great box. Like, everything in it is awesome. So again, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, feelings, concerns, feel free to put those in the comment box below. I love engaging with you guys and talking with you guys and answering your questions, and the feedback that you guys give me is so helpful because you have helped me figure out all kinds of stuff. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.